everybody, it's Adam. As promised, we are going to be doing the rest of this sway bar. It's pretty gnarly. Not in great shape at all. Am I going to do it the right way? Maybe. Am I going to do it the best way? Probably not. It needs to be powder coated, but since I don't have equipment right now to do the powder coating, we're just going to rock and roll with it. I'm going to take it and sand it down. We're going to use grinder. I've got a little grinder here that should do the trick, getting all of the paint and stuff off of it. And then we're going to paint it. Powder coating would obviously be better. And also sandblaster would be better, but the sandblaster called in today or something like that. The sandblaster is packed in my storage and weighs about 500 pounds. And I can't do that by myself. So we are going to do it the way that I can do it right now. Here we go. Alright guys, the majority of the grinding's done. I do have to hit it with a little bit of sandpaper first and then clean it up before we spray it. The grinder, like I said, is not the best choice. It'd be a lot better to have a sandblast setup. But this will do enough to get the paint to stick. And like I said, I will be going over it with sandpaper and with a cleaner as well. So this is our product after grinding. All right, we're gonna go ahead and go on to the next step. All right, everybody got it sanded, ready to go. Got it cleaned up. Recommend if you're going to do this, you always use some kind of grease and wax remover before you start spraying anything. This is 91% alcohol. Works fantastic. You don't have to have anything special. 91% alcohol works just as well as anything else. I'm going to show you the 4 stages of paint we'll be using today. First off, we have a self-etching primer. Buy this at Walmart. This is a primer that helps to prevent rust, so you don't have any of the bubbling or any of the rust returning after you get everything sprayed. This is a regular primer. This primer is going to provide a base for our color. We're going to do something a little bit different. She's not going to be black anymore. It's going to be some kind of, this is called Saint Tropez. Looks kind of cool. And then we're all going to end up with a little bit of clear. So we're going to get started here in just a minute. All right, folks, here goes the etching primer. All right, got the self-etching primer on. Remember, the self-etching primer is just to keep from getting any rust later on. You only need 1 coat of self-etching primer as long as you get good coverage. We're going to move on to our regular primer next. I chose a white primer so we can see our color in its truest form. Your lighter colors like this, like what we're going to use, are going to look a little bit better over a white primer. Of course, that all depends on what you're looking for. I'm wanting to see the true color of it. You can put a dark primer under it, and every paint is a little bit transparent. So if you put a dark primer under it, it's actually going to deepen that color a little bit. But we're going light primer, and we'll see when we're done with it. All right, guys, this is what it's going to look like with the etching primer on. Like I said, this etching primer is just for rust prevention. Our next is going to actually be a sanding primer. So if you're doing any kind of body repairs or anything like that, you use a sandable primer. What it does is it fills and it makes it where you can sand it to where it's smooth. That'll be our next one. The etching primer only gets 1 coat. The reason being is it's not trying to fill anything or anything like that. It's just making contact with that metal so that the rust does not come back. Our next one the sandable primer, you can do multiple coats. I'll probably do 2 coats just to be sure I'm covered good, because it's a lighter primer and it's going over that little bit darker material. If you're doing a repair, like a body repair or something like that, you'll use as many as you need to get it smoothed out. And you'll spray it on, and you'll do like a guide coat over it, and then you'll sand it back down until you have your area where you know you need more primer. But we're going to go ahead and spray some of this primer, and I'll see you after it's done. Alright guys, got our second coat of primer on. This is it's a white primer. It's our sandable primer. And like I said, on this, I'm not going to sand it or anything. This thing is pitted pretty bad. And to get it to look perfect, I would have had to do a lot more extensive overhaul of this deal. But this is just basically to keep it from rusting any more than it already is. But the primer is on. The next step is going to be our color. And we're ready to see how that turns out. Should be a cool color. Should be kind of cool just to look under the back and see something a little different than just a black sway bar. Anyway, y'all, see y'all on the next coat here. Hey everybody, we got the color on. We only really needed one coat. I did a couple little touch-ups here and there, but one coat covered extremely well. Next is going to be the clear coat. I would recommend that people do 2 coats, but as I said earlier, this is mainly just for rust prevention. And with all the extra coats we're going to have with the other primers and the clear coat and everything, I think we should be good on rust. If you're painting a car and wanting it to last for a long time, the paint job to be beautiful and all that stuff, don't do what I'm doing. The layers are appropriate, all that, as far as using the etching primer and then using the sandable primer and all that. It's just you should do a little better prep, and you should also spray your clear on, your color on extremely thin and get good coverage. So it's going to take multiple coats of color when you do paint something that's going to be a surface you're going to be showing. Anyway guys, next is going to be clear, and I will get that sprayed and we'll talk to you in a few. Time for clear, y'all. We're going to spray some clear. We got a little bit of tagging on there. We got our car club sticker on there. Anyway, this will be the last couple of coats. We're going to do 2 coats of clear, and then this thing will be ready to go back on the car. Thanks for watching, everybody. Sorry everybody, forgot to film spraying the clear, but it's done. We'll be putting it on the car tomorrow. Have a good one, y'all.